Hello children, welcome to the third class of Alternative English. I am your teacher Siddharth sir and I will be teaching you today Sita. So before learning the poem, we must need to know that who is the writer. So today in this class, I will explain you about the writer. The writer is Toru Dutt. So today we will start the chapter, the poem, with the introduction to the writer, to the poet. Alright, so the poem Sita has been written by Toru Dutt. So let me give you a short introduction of the poet who has written this beautiful poem. Alright, so she is Toru Dutt, who was born on 4th of March 1856, long back, and she died 30th August 1877, also long back. But still we are reading her poem. That means what? She have written really a masterpiece. She was the youngest of the three children of Govind Chandra Dutt. So her father name is Govind Chandra Dutt. Okay, and she is the youngest, the most smallest of the three children. She has got total, Mr. Govind Chandra Dutt have three children and she is the youngest. All right. An established Bengali poet who wrote in English and French. Her father wrote in English as well as in French. So this person is a very famous poet too, like his daughter. Deeply influenced by the glamour of the West, her father converted to Christianity when Toru was 6 years old. So during that time when Toru Dutt was living, when her parents were alive, that time British missionaries have come and they have settled in India. All right, British rule was going on. So her father was very attracted to the British missionaries, the language English. So he converted himself to Christianity. The unexpected death of her brother Abju in 1865 left the family heartbroken. Immediately they converted into Christianity. Toru Dutt's brother died somehow and the entire family became heartbroken. The family left for Europe in 1869 and the two sisters Toru and Aru went to a French school at Nice. So immediately after the son died, they cannot stay in India anymore because they were going through pain, hurt, heartbroken. So they all left to Europe. Alright. And now who left? Toru and Aru. Abju was the brother who died. So Toru and Aru were the two survivors. There were total three children. Okay. Abju, Aru and Toru. So now Aru and Toru is alive and Abzu is no longer. He died. So when he died, entire family was heartbroken and all of them shifted to Europe. And the two girls went to French school at Nice. The next year they went to London where Toru and her sister took lessons in music. So they were traveling from one country to another. First they went to France, then they transferred themselves to London where Toru and Aru, they learned music. In 1871, the family came to Cambridge where both sisters attended lectures. Thereafter, they went to Cambridge where both of them attended lectures. They returned to Calcutta in 1873 and both sisters plunged into active writing. And when they came back at last to Calcutta, they both started writing because writing was the only source of them to get out of their pain. Because you see, nowadays in 21st century, you have Facebook, you have Twitter, you have WhatsApp, you have Instagram. There are many mediums through which you can take out your frustration by writing a status, by uploading a video. But that time, how a person is going to express their aggression? Only by writing. Understand? So they used to write a lot after they came back from Europe, the journey. So they spend their most of the time in the city house at Rambagan and the garden house at Bogmari. Unfortunately, this literary strain became unbearable for Aru and she soon died of consumption. Even Aru also expired after she came back from Europe. So now who left? Only Toru, the writer of the poem. She is the only one, the poet of the poem. She is the only one who left among all the siblings. So this was a heart-rending calamity for Toru and her father. Her first essay was published in the Bengal magazine 1874 and her first volume of French poem, A Thief Gleaned in French Fields, was printed in 1876. In 1877, Toru's health was failing and there were recurrent attacks of fever and calf spasm. Alright, so what I mean to say is that after they came back from Europe, Aru and Toru started writing. Okay, that was the only way to get out their frustration or whatever they wanted to express their feelings. But slowly and gradually, Aru also fell sick and died. And when Aru died, Toru became all lonely, okay, with her father. So what happened to Toru? She also started falling sick. She used to have fever and sometimes cold and cough and different types of sicknesses she's going through. She died on 30th August 1877. At last, she also lost her life, leaving her parents devastated. After her death, her father found an unfinished romance entitled Bianca, or the Young Spanish Maiden, and a French novel called Le Journal de Mademoiselle d'Arvers. So, as you know, the father was very good in French writing and English, so daughters were also very good, and they lived in France. So, when she died, the father found on her trunk a unfinished romance, which she was writing, but it did not finish. She died before she could finish, and the name of that was Bianca, or the Young Spanish Maiden. And she also wrote one French novel called Le Journal de Mademoiselle d'Arvers. Toru's genius reached its culmination in ancient ballads and legends of Hindustan. She also wrote very beautiful, collections like Legends of Hindustan, ancient ballads. She published a lot during her small span of lifetime. In 1820 till 1882, she wrote a lot. Toru Dutt's poetry displays a rare talent of storytelling. Whenever she writes something, whenever she writes a poem, the poem tells you a story, narrates you a very beautiful story, and you start feeling it, you start imagining it. When you read her poem, you feel that it is happening in front of you. Toru Dutt's poetry displays a rare talent of storytelling and a deep love of nature, which helped her scale the heights of poetic achievement. So her poem is full of imagination. Whenever she writes a poetry, and we as a reader read her poetry, the images comes in front of us like a video, and we can feel what is happening. We can see what is happening, although these are mere words. A poet can become famous only when, when the poet can actually transmit his or her feelings to the readers. And Toru Dutt is someone who can do that. Okay, when she writes so beautifully, her words have the capacity to express her emotions. And those emotions, when we read, we feel that we feel that as if it is happening in front of us. The visualization, whatever sentence she will write about a story, we may feel that the story is happening in front of us. Okay, we may feel that we are seeing it, we are visualizing it, we are watching it. That is her capacity of her writing. So in short, what I want to say is that the poem Sita is written by a great Indian poet. Her name is Toru Dutt. She was the youngest among the three children her father had. Her father is Govind Chandra Dutt, and he was a famous Bengali, very literate, educated person, and he wrote lot of poems in French language, in English. And because that time Christians have come, the Christians missionary have come to India, and their first settlement was West Bengal, and there they have made many missionaries, and during that time British was ruling India. So Mr. Govind Chandra Dutt was very much attracted by the British culture, lifestyle, tradition, and their status, and their clothing style, trend. So he converted. After he converted, his child, Abzu died. All right, so he's a son. Abju died, and Abju, when he died, entire family was heartbroken. So all of them went to Europe journey. First they went to France, then they went to England, where they stayed in London, then went to Cambridge. After that, when they came back, Aru could not also sustain. She also died. So two siblings already died. So who left? Toru. And Toru, she was so lonely. There was no one to express her feelings, no friends, nobody. So what she used to do, she keeps writing. But before she could complete some of her writing, she also died, because she was very weak, fragile, and she kept getting sicknesses like cold and cough and fever. When she died, her father found her unfinished writing, like which I told you already, the Young Spanish Maiden, or the French novel Le Journal de Mademoiselle d'Arvers. So these were some unfinished work of her. which she could not complete, but the things which she have completed were really wonderful one. And in 21st century we are reading it. In 2021 we are still reading her poetry and her poem, and in this high secondary second year we are going to read her poem called Sita, and it's a wonderful poem. In the next video, that will be fourth video of mine, I will give you the first part of explanation from the poem Sita. I hope that you all have understood who is Torudat, what type of writer she is, how she wrote this poem. She wrote this poem when she was missing her mother, when she was missing her childhood, when she was missing her two siblings, Abju and Aru, because she became lonely. She was the only survivor till that time. Her both siblings died, so she was so sad. Out of sadness she wrote this poetry. So this poem is actually in a way her expression of loneliness, and she is missing her family. She wants to relive those beautiful moments of her childhood with her mom, with her two siblings. Her mother used to narrate stories, tell stories or narrate stories to the three children. When they go for bed, the mother will be on one side and the three siblings will be together, Toru, Abzu, Aru, and the mother will narrate the story of Sita and they will listen and sleep. Okay, and at that time when all of them are dead, she remembers them and wrote the story and state that she wants to go back to the past and relive those beautiful moments. But can it possible? Can it be possible? No, right? Never. Once one person die, that person never comes back, and that sadness have attacked her so much that she also passed away and went to her mother and her two siblings in the heavenly abode. But she left after her the beautiful writings of her, which we will which we will read, and we will understand how much emotion it is filled with. All right, so for today this is enough. Next video, in the next video which I'll give you on Wednesday, in that video I will give you the explanation of the poem Sita part 1, and on Friday I will give you the explanation of the poem Sita part 2. I hope that you have understood who is the poet Torudat, and how she wrote the poem, and why she wrote the poem, and how was her life, how she lived. Because to read someone's work, we must need to know the master who created it. Then we can understand the writing very well. And you all are very good students. I'm sure you will understand and be benefited with this video. So have a good day ahead. Thank you.